Dr. Long, she's a talker.
Where she is at.
That's what she says.
Hey, it's 4:30. Town will appoint regular planning and zoning town plan commission. 4:30 PM, October 1st, 2025. Call to order, roll call.
Charles Brummer.
Jim Peters.
Oh, so check.
Paul Wilharm. David Elan online, not yet. Public comment, less than 1 minute. No public comment.
Oh, he doesn't need to say?
Approval of previous minutes. A, public hearing for the zoning ordinance rewrite, 9/3/2025. Anybody see anything?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the public hearing minutes for the public hearing for the zoning ordinance rewrite on September 3rd, 2025.
A second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 E, TPC special meeting, 9/3/2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the town plan commission special meeting on September 3rd, 2025.
A second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. C, TPC regular meeting, 9/10/2025.
Make a motion to approve the regular town plan commission meeting of September 10th, 2025.
A second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. D, TPC special question and answer session number 1, 9/24/2025.
Make a motion to approve the town plan commission special Q&A session number 1 that was held on September 24th, 2025.
I have to abstain.
Second.
Discussion?
I just want to thank zoning administrator for a very good job on all 4 minutes. That's
Yeah.
my discussion. Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome. All in favor? Aye.
I have to abstain.
Old business, review, discuss, and possibly approve land use permit application. The first one is 1045 Sunny Slope Road, replacement accessory dwelling with attached garage. Eric and Barbara Grutzner.
Are you okay with this now, Charlie?
Well, I think the total square footage of the original structure is 630 square feet according to our assessor. And I think that's what we should go by. So 50% of that, 315 square feet, is 945 square feet total. That's what I go by. Because that's how I read the ordinance, and that's, I think, how it should be. I don't know where they're getting this 30 by 45 for 1350 square feet, but I'm fine with it as long as we adhere to the ordinance, follow the rules, and issue a permit no greater than 945 square feet. That's my opinion.
How many square feet?
945.
945.
Because if the original is 630 per the assessor, and we've had different numbers. I know Evan Jr. Erickson had it much lower than that, but I think honestly, we should go by what our assessor has on their card. And if it was assessed and measured at 630, I have not seen any other evidence to refute that one way or the other, apparently. So, and a non-conforming structure is allowed up to 50% greater. So 50% of 630 is 315, which comes up to 945. And that's the entire structure. That's garage and apartment. If it's 2 stories, they've got to consider that. So I don't know.
You can make a motion.
Do they,
Well, I just want other discussion. That's all.
I'll go with you. I believe what you say.
do they count the footprint or second story as well? That's part of. the-
Well, square footage is square footage, isn't it? I always thought square footage was square footage.
I
How does
thought,
Rich do it?
I thought it was just the footprint.
Yeah, I was under the understanding it was the footprint.
Yeah, but I don't think they're planning on building a second story anyway.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about this?
I will go with the original, the thought, what was in the ordinance to begin with. 945, we've gone through this over and over, you know, the original footprint.
Yeah,
Well, let me ask Rich, and you know, when you're calculating fees, how is that done? Is it just the square footage? Is that someone's building a 5,000 square foot house and that's taking into account, say, it's a 2-story house theoretically with an attached garage? Are you charging them for the entire square footage or just the foot?
We've been charging them for the footprint of the building.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one where, you know, we've talked about at length, and you know, there are improvements that are being made here as far as getting the structure out of the right of way.
Yeah.
And I actually did find on page 2, when we met last, I didn't have any sort of documentation as to where it was at. So I found a document dated October 2nd, 1996, when the Sunny Slope sewer system was created. And that actually shows that building in the right of way.
Hmm.
Now, as far as how many feet it's in the right of way, it's hard to tell.
But if the town gave them an easement at their special meeting earlier this week, I know Jim had some concerns about that. My biggest concern was the square footage. If that's how it's been calculated in the past, that's fine. But I think it should not be 1350. It should be 945 for the evidence that was been presented in front of us. And if they have a dispute, I'm sure there's an appeal process. But I think that's what we should be following is what the ordinance says.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this as a standpoint of it's making the situation better. You know, it was in the right of way. There was height that I did find out there is about 3 feet or so in the right of way. That was
It's less non-conforming, not more non-conforming.
It is, and they've gone and they have taken down additional trees, and the building was moved back. So it's been moved back at least 10 feet from where it was, maybe more. And they have taken down trees, which I think initially they didn't want to do, but that does allow additional square footage in the building. So that's where, you know, I understand that, you know, the 50%, and we've never really been able to land on what the square footage was. I mean, I had.
That's why I'm going by the assessor, assuming that the assessor wanting to have accurate figures for the assessment. One assessor at some point took actual measurements of that outbuilding for tax purposes. That's why I would assume he or she doing their job correctly, 630, I don't know what else you can go by.
Right, understood.
And knowing that we have had some figures much less than that, some much more, I think 630 lands about as close as you're going to get.
Right. And I'm looking at the whole picture here, including the challenges that the town went through with the property owner, you know, back, you know, over the winter and into the spring. And I do see it as kind of a give and take all around, and, you know, 950 or, you know, versus the 1350, you know, the property owner has again, you know, taken down trees that they didn't originally plan on taking down. So for me, the justification for 1350, it's staked out properly. It moves it further. It moves it out of the right of way at least 7 feet. That's why I recommended approval. is because I think that this ultimately ends up being a win-win.
Well, I'm fine approving it as long as it's 945 and not 1350. That's how, I mean, it's math. I mean, from what I see in the ordinance and from what we've gotten from the tax assessor, I think that's fair. I think and that's, you know, a good use of a structure. He's going from a smaller structure to a larger structure, at least 50%. I think it's fair, and it's unfortunate if he cut some big pines down that he didn't want to, but you know, you can plant trees and trees can grow again. And let's face it, trees aren't going to live forever either. So,
Rich, did you ever get a plot plan from Gritzner's?
Yes, I mean, you know, there's an example on page 2. There was a hand-drawn one on page 3.
But none of them show the setbacks.
Correct, but I do have the setbacks as far as so.
And that's supposed to be part of the procedure, is to submit a plot plan showing all the size of the building, the location, and all the setbacks to all the property lines, et cetera, but there isn't one.
Right,
This
and
application.
yeah, well, but we do have one.
do they have a land use permit for this?
They have submitted a land use permit, yes. So,
And that should show setbacks on the land use permit.
well, okay, yes, but you know, so I went out on the 25th and I did the measurements that included all of the setbacks based on the stakes that are in the field, and that's ultimately what we used for the easement, is what I measured with Eric in the field.
But the applicant is supposed to submit a plot plan, all the dimensions, all the setbacks, and I don't see one in this documentation that you gave.
Yeah, and I can pull out, because it was something that we were working on together for a couple of days last week.
This thing's been such a rat's nest, I can understand if something was best.
I mean, that's the purpose of this sheet. Is to, and on this sheet, it says that the application has been published completely and accurately, including plot plan. And there's
Yeah,
no
and-
plot plan.
Well, a lot of submittals don't necessarily draw in. They provide additional details. They provide additional drawings that I review when I go and do the measurements. So,
Well, I mean, I look at the next land use application and they included a plot plan. I mean, that's what we require,
okay,
and yet we don't have one.
right. Well, and that's, you know, we were working on this the 25th, 26th of September and ultimately shared with our attorneys, you know, the detailed information that has the setbacks. So,
There was some confusion because the easement was modified.
Is that why the attorney's involved?
Yeah,
Oh,
well, for the initial easement and the modification.
right. So in reality, when I prepared this summary, I should have included the drawing that went to the attorney that showed exactly where the corners are, that it's 34 feet from the property line.
Well, that's the applicant's responsibility. And he could have drawn it up with the easement that was granted before, and we'd have that. And we could look at it and see that, so the easement has been, I think, increased a bit and would satisfy that part of the application. And I gotta agree with Charlie too, that according to our current ordinance, if they want to increase the size of the building, that 50% is as large as they can go in a non-conforming structure. I
Understood.
mean, I realize this has been going on seemingly forever, and it would be nice to put it to rest. But at the same time, our job is to follow the ordinance and to interpret it as we see the right way. And right now, I don't feel that they have done things completely or accurately.
fulfilled.
So we're not gonna get a vote of approval. Let's just table this for the next meeting. I personally want to just approve it.
Well, I do too, and just get it done with
And
and move on.
look at this thing in the rearview mirror.
But at the same time, that's not our job. Our job is to do it correctly. Treat everybody fairly, the same. And
So, yeah, so I can quickly make modifications, so I can work with the property owner to make modifications. I mean, I'm hearing two issues, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Now, we
hearing-
we can also have a special meeting after the next question and answer.
Yeah, we should do
Session.
that.
mhm,
Mhm.
Which is next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
But why is it gonna be corrected? I mean, if it is as it is. It's a footprint, you know, Charlie says 945 square feet is what it should be. Now, how does he make it something else that's not that? That's not what our ordinance says.
he didn't submit a site plan, so.
Well, I mean, what he submitted didn't have the final measurements because we went out in the
Yeah.
field and did those live together.
Or from an architect or on our little graph paper that's part of the application.
Well, if he has that, is that gonna correct it so he can have what he wants? That's still not gonna correct it, is it?
Well, I mean, that's one of the two issues. The first issue, the big issue is the 945 square feet.
Yeah.
To me, that's the big issue. The second issue is we have all of the information. We have actually probably more in this folder on this effort than most people submit. It's just a matter of putting it on a sheet of paper. And that's easy to do, because we've already sent it to the attorneys. So,
You know, and if the assessor would have came in and said it's 900 square feet, well, yeah, then that's how you get 1350, but there is no evidence that I am aware of that it's anything other than 630. So I'm basing the calculations off of that 630.
yeah, and I'll have to pull up those numbers. You know,
But I agree with Jim. I think he needs to have a completed land use application with a plot plan and communicate to him that it's 945 square feet per our ordinance. I mean, that's what I'm basing my decision upon, is what's written in the ordinance and the figure we got back from the town's assessor.
Okay, I mean,
I wish them well. I hope they can go with this project, but that is what it is.
okay.
So let's table this.
well, also they have another alternative. They can ask for a variance. So, I mean, that's still a possibility, if they want to. Because right now, I don't see how we can approve this going with the square footage that they're asking, because it doesn't
Jive.
coincide with the ordinance. So, I mean, because when you talk to them, you're gonna have to explain that these are the numbers that I think the TPC has agreed would be the maximum size that they could build with the present ordinance and their documentation and whatever. If they want to try and go bigger, the only alternative I can see, and I mean, you should let them know, is to apply for a variance. Is anybody else see any other way they could build bigger than that?
Well, they can go up.
Well, they also could relocate it on the lot, but that's probably not gonna work as a driveway, circle driveway. I'm sure there's some other spot on the plot or on the parcel, and I mean, that's something that the Board of Appeals would have to take into consideration. Do you have other options? There's always other options.
Just applying for a variance doesn't mean that he's going to be able to build.
There is no guarantee he's gonna get that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and the 50%, and I do understand that issue. I mean, I also look at it as making the situation better by setting it 7 feet beyond the right of way, while not an entirely new location. It is, it is moving it. Whereas I look at that 50%, and that 50% is more focused on, the rebuilding in the same spot.
What was
And-
the big issue with snow removal? I'm still not clear on that.
As far as,
Close to the road, wasn't it?
yeah,
So snow removal for who?
snow removal for the town. I mean, you're starting
I
to
don't-
push.
I don't know that the town ever had an issue with plowing that. I mean,
Well, you live up there.
I know, I've never.
I've never seen the snow pile up to that garage in my life.
No, neither have I.
Right, but
It may be a problem for the landowner to get access to that, although they never,
They weren't here that much in the winter anyway.
and they don't use it for vehicles anyway.
No.
So
Right.
the whole thing with,
I think the boring project and the power project, didn't they clear cut more in front of,
oh yeah,
yeah.
all over down there.
yeah, and I think part of it was in the right of way. I mean, I finally did
Right,
find
yeah,
a photo of it or a drawing.
right, but I still could never understand what the big issue that moving it back 5 or 10 feet or whatever it was gonna improve snow removal. Because I don't think there's ever been an issue with it.
No.
I think it was just another,
Well, it was an additional item to add on that, it was moving it outside of the right of way that was key.
well, not out of the right of way, but further out of the right of way.
Further out.
Well,
We used to call
was-
it back in the day, making it less non-conforming is the terminology we used like
It
20
was-
years ago.
It was probably 3 feet or so in the right of way is my guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Let's put it
unfortunate we don't have a footprint or,
Yeah, the only thing I found was what was on page 2,
Yeah.
which was that actually shows it in.
Well, get us some more information, confer what we talked about tonight with the landowner, and property owner, and I guess we just move on and.
Yeah, so just so I'm clear, and moving forward, I mean, it's 2 issues, but really it's the one big one is the 940 feet.
If that's what it says, that's how we have to go. I don't see how we can go around it.
Yeah, and I think,
We have to change the ordinance.
yeah, I think where the difference is it's not in the same footprint as before.
Yeah.
It's cleaning up the right of way issue,
But it's still non-conforming.
No,
but it's still non-conforming.
Yeah, well, non-conforming is non-conforming. If they're non-conforming by a foot, it's non-conforming. It's,
well, we can table it, but I don't see what's gonna be different.
Well, I would like to put it on the agenda for
Yeah.
October 8th.
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Fine with it.
I'm happy to, over the next week, look into the 945 and, we will get a plot plan that's a little bit clearer. Because this file folder it's probably my thickest
No.
file folder to date. And we have that information. It's just maybe not in format that's,
But I agree with Jim. We need to treat everyone the same, and that's one of the items on our approval list, yes or, no.
Okay.
Not available.
Okay, so this is tabled until October 8th.
Yep.
okay.
1099 Middle Road, bedroom addition to existing dwelling.
Is that the two?
Looks like that meets all setbacks, no issues.
Yeah, no issues with this.
Make a motion to, sorry.
No, go ahead. Nope.
I'll make a motion to approve the land use application for Joe Kahula at 1099 Middle Road as submitted.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. The next one's 505 Bay Hill Cottage Road East, accessory building, pre-built shed, Connie Ross. I've looked at that one previous. It looks fine.
Yeah, everything looks
No question, Rich, on that one?
No.
Make a motion to approve land use application for Constant Ross at 505 Bay Hill Cottage Road East as submitted.
a second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 753 Raspberry Trail accessory building, 300 square foot small house. Joe Kinney,
And you will see that that is not in your packet. This is part of the Raspberry Trail subdivision. We just signed yesterday the Raspberry Trail CSM. And so the property owner has not yet closed on this property. He's marked it off. The driveway has been marked off, as has been the location for a 300 square foot small home or a tiny home. That's going to be the precursor to a full build cabin. But in discussions, it would be conditional approval tonight, just because he hasn't closed on it yet. And the closing has been delayed 2 or 3 times. So I've been working with the property owner, and what they're going to submit after closing is a land disturbance permit for the driveway and clearing. And then at our next meeting on November 5th, we'll review for the tiny house location. He's also working with the county on the sanitary permit. They're looking at putting in a composting toilet. So obviously we can't issue any permits until the sanitary permit is issued. So in coordination with the property owners, we have a plan. It just wasn't right for tonight.
Okay,
They were supposed to close before tonight, but it just didn't happen. So it's ready to go. We'll just wait, and he's
Okay.
okay with that.
thanks for the update, and we'll just
okay,
table it. CUP process, discuss online training, potential joint meeting with town board.
After budget season's done with,
Yep,
we're done with the rewrite.
Yeah.
Same thing with tech memorandum 3, I think.
yeah. And holding tank options.
okay,
So
so
it's,
tabling that one too.
Yeah.
Has the sanitary district talked about the holding tank options yet, or that you know?
I believe it was on the agenda for the last meeting, and there was some discussion on it. But you're right, after we kind of get through this push here at the end of the construction season and the zoning rewrite, I'll be picking it up and continuing to work. And everyone raises some concerns. I think Paul raised a very good concern last on the 24th when Paul was talking about, and I'm going to get these numbers wrong, but I think it was 15% of the product comes from offsite, and 58% of the concentration or
50% of the volume comes from solid waste, but 58% of the concentration of the loading comes from the hauled waste. So it's most of it isn't coming from the collection system. It's coming from the hauled waste, the actual concentration. You gotta take that into consideration.
Yep. And with the various costs of the upgrades. So these are all things that I'm hearing and gathering as we work through the process. But more to come.
Are we talking about holding tanks now?
For campers.
So it's 300 gallon
CUP process and tech memo 3, what happened to
Yeah, well,
those?
that's,
overall table.
yep,
Oh, where am I? Okay,
So more to follow next month.
right. So
Well,
draft zoning ordinance update, and I guess we're gonna be talking about that in new business, so we're gonna scratch that here. Do I need a permit? Update
okay.
on creating an informational permit summary.
Well, yeah,
Oh, excuse me. Town Plan Commission update on residency requirements for membership.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
My suggestion would be to make a change in our draft ordinance and make the town board aware that we are going to suggest that change. I know there was some talk about what constitutes residency. And everything I can read on it for Wisconsin, it has mainly to do with your domicile, where you live, where your main residence is. Other things come into play, but that's the big one. And I believe that, like our town chairman has said, might be a good idea to at least have one of the TPC members be allowed to be a non-resident. As long as they own property out here on the island.
well, you had to do that because he's already broken it.
I know. So it's not much we can do about that at this time. So I think if we just try and get this in the new ordinance, and that way,
Well, what are we
Even-
getting in? What state, what it is we're gonna get in?
but it's,
How are we gonna make him legal?
well, once the ordinance, the new ordinance gets passed by the town board, it'll be legal. And I'm not saying it's illegal right now, but I'm not sure it is legal either.
Did we
It's-
figure out what residency is?
Residency is 1/2 of the year plus 1 day.
Yeah, that's the way it's always been.
Well, it has more than to do. with
That's
that.
one component.
Right. It also has to do with
Where your driver's license
exactly
says,
where you vote, all those things come into play.
right,
And
I think we nail all that down because that's what the main issue was. What is residency? And in my mind, it was
and,
6 months in a day.
and we can put some wordage in there as we work through the zoning rewrite, we can put some.
Well, I think
wordage
we
in
have to
there.
be very detailed about it.
But we're still going to recommend to the town board that we allow one non-resident on the TPC.
Well, I agree because it's after the fact now anyway, so we have to make him legal. He's a good soul, so we have to make him legal.
Yeah,
But from going here on out,
he has no comment because he's not on the screen.
that's why I can talk. Anyway, I agree, we have to go with what the town board has done. But from here on out, I think we've got to let them know that this is what rewrite it so that it says that. Anyway,
Okay, moving on. Do I need a permit update on creating an informational permit summary and question and answer for the public? And Rich was working on that. We'll table this until after budget
well,
too.
tell them what you got, Rich.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I started with Ashland County's example. And I've started making some edits to it so it conforms with the town of LaPointe. And it would be something that we would post on the website along with a frequently asked questions of things where I'm answering the phone or getting emails. And it's the same type of question over as far as, is a permit required? So it'll be something that we'll work on over the winter and get
It's an
published.
enhanced version of this card.
Yes,
We've already done this.
yes.
Now, I gave somebody a whole stack of these. I don't know who had them. But we did this and we put it in all the real estate sales of land and homes. And we put it in all the rent so people would be aware of what they needed to do. So we've done this once. Now, if we go and redo it again, that's what we do. But it's,
I think that's a great start and I appreciate you bringing that in. This is getting a little bit more in detail as far as like, do I need it for a fence? Do I need it for a deck? Do I need
A
it
shipping
for-
container,
Yes,
seeing a lot of shipping containers. I don't know if they're getting permits. I hope they are, but
yeah,
be another one.
Are they shipping in or out?
As long as, but if they're fixed on the property, that's,
they're homes.
but no, it's a good start. Rich.
it's more detail and I will bring a draft, over the winter to refine.
Sounds good.
Moving on, new business, draft zoning ordinance update. additional questions and answer sessions, October 8th, October 29th.
Yeah.
There was a conflict with the 23rd, because there's a budget meeting, so we're gonna move it to the 29th if everybody's in agreement, but
That's fine.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock both nights.
Yes.
That'll work.
We'll get both of those posted on our,
does anybody have anything to say about the draft zoning ordinance in general? Just wait until these listening and question and answer sessions are over and then talk about it?
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
so.
we've got some good feedback from people and things we need to look at in adapting the ordinance because of what they have said. I think we are definitely going to take that into consideration and make some changes to the rewrite.
Yeah, I think the two camper thing is out the window.
Yes,
Which window?
any window.
yeah, so we're also in the process of, we've got a binder in our office here
Right.
that every time I get a comment from the public, I print it out and I put it in there and I distribute it to this group as well. And I'm taking the meeting minutes from the public hearing and the meeting minutes from September 24th and putting those in the binder as well. So when we get to October 29th and we get the meeting minutes done for that, we'll have a comprehensive list of all of the questions that we received from the public, and we can methodically go through all of those.
They have some very valid points.
They do. They do.
If we have someone that comes to either the October 8th or October 29th meeting and they couldn't make it to our last Q&A and they want to ask us a question about, say, definitions, I think we still should answer their questions,
Agreed.
correct?
Absolutely. I don't care how long the meeting goes.
Yeah, I just don't want it so structured that, oh, no, we're not talking about that. We're only in this
Right.
section.
Yeah, and I'm
No,
working.
I would prefer not to talk about the commercial event center at these meetings.
Yeah, well, a little bit off subject, but I think you did a good job chairing that meeting, Chair.
It was contentious and I almost crawled under the table, but.
No, I think you handled it as well as anyone could, so
Yeah. Well,
don't
So
worry.
the way I see, and I've already developed PowerPoint for the 8th is we're gonna do chapters or sessions 6 through 10 and then 11 through 16, but I'm adding the category below that's everything else.
Sure.
So just like you said, if they have comments on chapter 1,
Yeah, if they couldn't make the 20, whatever. 20.
yeah, so there's kind of a catch-all
Yeah.
as the last agenda item.
Okay.
And we'll get those posted tomorrow, again, because I want to be able to get it out to the public with as much notice as possible.
Sounds good.
anything else on that? We can move on to the next one here, which is complaints received regarding wedding events at 951 Whitefish Lane.
Yeah, and I added this one onto the agenda, as you're aware, there's been more than one complaint received regarding events at 951. As you know, the town takes those things very seriously. And the town is in the process of reviewing the complaints and collecting and gathering information. The town is following the process as outlined in section 15 of the zoning ordinance titled complaints. It's one page, but it's very clear and succinct, and we're following that to the letter. And as it is an existing and open investigation, we're really not prepared to discuss any of the facts or answer any questions at this time.
Thanks for your work on this and your continued work that's ongoing. Discuss 2026 budget schedule of fees.
Okay. I got something to say. I think we should get a raise. We have been at $50. I've been on for 18 years. You've been on longer than that, Charlie.
We were $50 in 1998.
Yeah. And I think we put in a lot of time, especially some of the honchos around here, put in a lot of time on this. And if the town board can give themselves a raise, I think we can give ourselves a raise.
They gave themselves a raise.
I thought they did. Somebody told me they did.
We gave ourselves a raise on the county level. $25. We're at 75 instead of 50 now.
Wow,
Well, it starts with the next election cycle in April.
almost covers your boat fare.
No, they reimburse me for the fare.
Oh, they do? Oh, all right.
That's living.
That's like being on jury duty.
Okay. So what does everybody think?
Well, what are you suggesting, Sue Ellen?
That we up it?
To what?
Well, I thought $100, but.
$100. Well, I think the chair does a lot of work, so
Well, he'd be,
what are you making now?
anyway.
75.
75.
Yeah, I think the chair should definitely go up.
And then we could go up to 75.
Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't
Just bump
want
it 25, you know.
to bump everybody up 25, or should the
Yeah.
chair get a little bit more like one?
No, I don't need, just keep, right now it's 50, 75.
None of us are doing it for the money.
No,
That's for
just,
sure.
No, that's for
just
sure.
bump it up 75, 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think the fee schedule and, you know.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to,
Need for any.
I'd like to up stuff if the new UDC inspector can charge 50 cents a square foot, why can't we up our square footage fee from 30 cents to 40 cents? I mean, we're hardly keeping up with inflation. And the rental permit fees should definitely go up. And this $125 per event fee, I mean, that's comical. The event should be like $450.
For like 10,000.
Yeah, I mean,
So do you want to make some recommendations that we'll forward to the town board?
Yeah, and they may cut it down anyway, like they have in the
Okay.
past, but
well, let's just go down line by line then, Paul.
I think everything is fine on here, except I would, in my personal opinion, I would definitely bump up the 30 cents a square foot to 40 cents a square foot. I
Where do you
just,
see that?
Right about the
right,
fourth line down.
yep. I just gave the UDC inspector a check for 1,300 and something bucks for a 2,400 square foot pole barn.
Could you ask the UDC inspector how he charges for a square foot? If it's like we were talking earlier, is if it's just the footprint or if it's say like a 2-story house?
Yes,
Um,
I will.
I still want to nail that down because I don't want to see us lose out on revenue. If someone's building a huge house, I mean, they could have a little 20 by 20 footprint, but if it's 2.5 stories, I mean, they should be charged more than just 20 by 20 if it's a 2-story house, in my estimation.
Will do.
And I thought McCarthy used to charge square footage, like, okay, how big is your house? Oh, I'm living in a 4,000 square foot house. Well, that's, everything. That's, if it's a 2-story house, that's everything. That's how I would look at it, but that's just me.
You want to move from 30 to 40? Or you want to go?
Yes, 40 cents per square foot, so.
40, okay.
And then I've been wondering about this outdoor seating for restaurants and other businesses using town parkland, sidewalks, or right of way, which is, down by the Blue Building, Adventure Vacations.
Yeah.
It says $200 annually plus 25 cents per square foot. Has that ever been collected? Because they are taking up.
Was that written, was that always here? Or was it written in here for the space that's next to Grandpa Tony's on the grass?
I believe that's when it was added.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
I think the ones you're talking about, Charlie, on County Road 8, like by Adventures Vacation out in front there,
Yeah,
that's supposed to be their parking spots.
exactly.
I know, and it's supposed to, according to our,
Technically, what they're doing is not right, but nobody said anything.
Well, it came up years and years ago, and McCarthy, when he was zoning administrator, they, at least at the Blue Building, he went around back and each place was supposed to have a certain amount of parking space. And the stuff behind and the stuff on the end, facing the ball diamond, if you calculated all that, I guess they just made it. But since then, I think they've added extra seating. I mean, I remember when you could park all along in there, except maybe where the mopeds were, and now.
Yeah, you got Marie
Well, yeah,
stuff.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that's been missed in the past.
But I also remember a chair on the old town plan commission or the zoning and planning at one time said, well, if the business wants to take it up and with seating and they have no parking for their customers, I guess they're going to lose out on business but there's no guarantee that they're going to have someone park in front of their business and use their business either. So parking always been a contentious thing around here, as long as I can remember. Okay, maybe that is Grandpa Tony's. I just noticed that and I was just curious
Do you want to do anything with the fee?
Yeah,
for that.
well, you have trouble with parking. I know that.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with parking.
No, I know, but you've got people that sit out in front of the chamber, and you've got people that sit out in front of Marie's, you've got Cafe Seiche, you've got Adventure Vacations. So I think we should charge for some.
Well, when it says sidewalks and right of ways, that's the first thing that came to mind. I didn't even think about the Russell Park and Grandpa Tony's, but I think in fairness to everybody, I think it would apply to both Adventure Vacations and Marie, Motion to Go, whatever. I mean, that has to be in the road right away, all that stuff, right?
It is.
I'm surprised somebody doesn't wheel around that corner and take out a bunch of people sipping coffee in front of Marie's shop. I mean, it's literally right there, right? I mean,
Well,
I wouldn't feel comfortable having my customers that close to the road, but
Okay, so it's 25 cents square foot. Which we should.
I'm fine with the fee. I'm not advocating we raise it. I'm just saying, I just wanted clarification.
what you're saying is we might want to start enforcing it.
Maybe. Yes, thank you.
Well, at the same time, if we do that, we'd have to look at the parking ordinance and what our zoning ordinance says about businesses
Mhm.
required to provide
Well, I mean,
parking. I mean, this,
case in point, Lightkeeper's Lodge next to the pub was built, and it was built without enough parking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I raised it when I was on here and no one listened to me.
we're listening now, Charlie.
Huh?
I'm listening now. But then
Thanks, Jim.
again, we get back to where do we want to go with this? I mean, it's been going on for years and years, and it hasn't been a real problem, but at the same time,
Telling them all it's gonna change is like taking a sucker out of a baby in a buggy.
well,
it's not. They gotta adjust.
I guess we have to decide what do we want to do. And right now.
I think we want to think about it and put it on the agenda to talk about after budget.
Yes,
Okay.
okay,
Okay,
that's all.
Well, and the season's almost over with anyway, so.
So as we go down the list, was there more, Paul, that you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I wanted to get the rental permits raised again. And I mean, I've got rental property, so I'm shooting myself in the foot, but it's in the best interest of the town. There's so much money with that.
So what are you proposing?
Well, I think we should at least raise them 50 or $100. This initial application should go to 600 and the annual renewal should go to 450 and the events should go to 450. And if the town board wants to adjust it down, let them do it.
Okay, how about long-term rental?
Leave that. We want long-term
We want
rental.
long-term.
Okay.
You want to make it attractive.
Okay,
Other than that, the fee schedule's fine. I don't want to do anything with
So on the short term, you're going from 5 to 6 and 350 to 450?
yep, and 450 for events. And, you know, nobody's taking out event permits, but they're happening and, you know, so we need, you know, I mean, well, the Belcastro Whitefish doesn't even qualify for an event permit. And some of them that do qualify, the property on the corner of Umbridge is having events and they're not taking out permit. And the barn on North Shore is having events and not taking out permits.
is
So,
that Clayton?
no, well, Umbridge is.
What?
Rich, will you convey,
Why?
Rich, will you convey these line item numbers to the town board on the
Yes.
fee schedule? I
Yes.
don't think we normally promotion for this,
No,
because all we're doing is just.
yeah,
Recommend, yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is number one, I'm taking notes on here. I'm gonna clean that up. Max is back on Friday. He's been gone for the week, so.
If you're rested, you can dump it on his.
Yeah, so I'll give him a little bit of time to dig out from everything else and yes.
I've heard some people complain about the $350 for short-term rentals, but what are they charging on a nightly basis? I mean, one night would probably cover that, right, Paul?
I'm at $4.25 a night on a condo.
You got a nice place down there on the lake too, so you should be getting that.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, well, no, I've heard nothing but, very good reviews on on the lake, you should be getting that, so. Well, I'm with you. Let's just see.
Now,
what the down-
one thing we could do down the road with the short-term rentals is, like, you've got the motel with 5 rooms. It may not be fair to be charging like the motel with 5 rooms, per room, it's like maybe there could be some leeway there
So at the Lake Keepers Lodge, that would be $450 for each.
for each unit, and the motel is $450 for each unit. But, I mean, Lake Keepers Lodge is like $300 a night.
Yeah,
And I'm sure they charge more for the lakeside rooms than
They do.
Yeah.
they're big rooms.
Yeah, and I'll get input on the rental permits from Katie Abbott as well. As you know, Katie now is the short-term and long-term rental administrator, and she's doing a fantastic job of, going through everything and sending out letters and getting everyone into compliance. So she's doing a fantastic job on that, but I'll coordinate with her
Good.
on these.
Future agenda items.
Several.
Everything table for me.
Yeah.
So the meeting on the 8th, after our Q&A, will just be for some of this old business stuff that, like land use permits, like Grutzner and
Just basically
Raspberry Trail.
Grutzner, and if Raspberry Trail is
Right,
ready.
they close.
If they close.
Yeah. Or anything else that might creep in. I mean, you can, at any special meeting, you can always take the opportunity to look at land use permits.
Right
to
now,
look at- To keep them flowing,
other than 753, I have no others that would come before TPC at this moment. I still have 2 that are, one's a driveway extension and another one is, some stumping, some ground clearing, but
But you can handle that. Land
Yes,
disturbing activities.
correct, correct. So those are
Still in your
mine.
purview.
Right now, there's nothing sitting on the desk other than 753 that requires TPC
I
approval.
think
Okay.
that's a good idea that Paul had, that any special meeting we have, that you list, discuss and possibly approve land use permit applications. Just have it on all special meetings, and if something comes
Agreed.
in.
or
Yes.
for a special meeting after a public hearing. We're sitting here anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
any special meeting that we have, because if the land use permit would happen to come up, so they don't have to wait 3-4 weeks or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
willing to do what it takes to get it processed and ready. So are we talking then 2 agendas? Or 1 for the 8th?
We're gonna have 2 agendas.
Two agendas.
Okay, so it's a special and,
Yes.
okay, okay. I just want to be,
Yeah, we have to,
and those will both be posted tomorrow.
Yeah,
we have to post for the Q&A and then a special. Yep.
and maybe we'll get a raise so we can do this extra stuff.
It's been a while.
Okay, extended public comment, less than 5 minutes. Paul.
Couple of things, just so you know, I believe the restaurants do have an application in the sanitary district, but we haven't had a meeting since they put the application in. So we haven't had a chance to make a decision one way or the other. Second, for a special event permit, maybe you can have something like a $10,000 after the fact permit. They should have had a special event, but they never bothered getting it. He's got a
Fine.
you got a bazillion complaints about a wild ranches party going on all hours of the night from 30 different people. And when it comes to having someone that's renting out your place, say you get $400 or $500 a night, we run our little post office, we only charge $200 a night, but then again, we don't have Wi-Fi, we don't have central air, it's kind of a modest place. So I don't know necessarily I want to be paying $400 or $500 for a rental permit. It's not real fancy, Paul. If you want to come by, I'll give you the 50-cent tour or something.
Oh, I'll take,
Or you will give you the 25-cent tour.
I'll take your word. I believe you 100%.
Now, I understand because there are people out there that will charge $1,000 a night. Trust me, I'm not gonna get $1,000 a night for the post office.
Yeah.
Or hi, everybody.
Just a couple things. I'm glad for the complaints on 951 Whitefish. Someone will be taking that seriously. It sounds like you're going through what the ordinance says.
Yes.
But then I hear you say you're gonna have somebody on the TPC and you're gonna bend the ordinance to make them a resident. And if the town board screwed up, let the town board know that person can't be on the TPC because they don't meet the guideline. It's okay. People screw up. But if they don't meet the guidelines to be a resident, they don't meet the guidelines. And thank you for tabling the Gretsner thing. If they don't have their paperwork filled out, mine would get kicked back. And the square footage is the square footage. That's what the permit is. If you have 2 floors, they count that. But I'd like to say if finally you guys kick back something and just did do what the town board wanted and pass it through. I applaud you for that.
We might not be here next week.
I know.
We'll all be vaporized.
That's okay.
At the end of the day, we're just a bunch of country bumpkins giving freely of our time.
With a raise.
I'm from Detroit.
Reverend Heidi's got her hand up. Reverend Heidi.
Hi
Oh.
there. Sorry, my dogs are going nuts and I'm a country bumpkin, only I live on the East Coast in a bedroom community outside of Washington, DC. But it was a country bumpkin area. And I applaud you all for trying very hard to stick to the letter of the way things are written, because it can go from 0 to 100 so quickly, as I see in the community that I live in. And I just need to say, I do feel very strongly as someone who's had ties to the island for a very long time, that you need to live on the island to participate in some of these decision-making things. So those are my 2 cents worth, and I usually sit here and don't say anything, but today I felt like I really needed to voice my support of how you're trying to follow the letter of the way things are written and go forward. So thank you very much for all you do for the island.
Thank you. Next scheduled meeting, November 5th at 4:30, is that?
Well, we have October 8th,
Oh, yes.
we have a special
Yeah,
meeting.
that's the regular TPC meeting. The next regular
Yeah.
TPC, meeting. November 5th, 2025.
That's for
That's fine.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Baseball.
Thank you.